So a quick highlight to this video that you're going to watch, but if you just want the meat and potatoes of it, President Trump has a travel ban on 12 countries, and it could be more than that. And from this, actually, recently, they are really pressing hard on if you have the right qualifications to drive a truck in America. And so this is a case here that just recently happened at the New York ports, where a driver has identification that states that he has a driver's license from Michigan. He states that he has an ID from Mexico, and they look into it, and it states that he was removed from America in 2007. So if any of this is incorrect, then basically, hey, he's innocent until proven guilty, but there could be 5 years in prison and $250,000 fine. And so this is the first case where they're really pushing hard. You know, are you here driving a truck and legally allowed to do that? And so let's get into today's video. We'll break down a little bit more about this. But people have been asking how much pressure have they been putting on English proficiency and when that's really going to start. And we talked about that. That's not starting until June 25th, right? And so, you know, some states have started early. But besides that, June 25th is that day, and you have to be English proficient. And they're even going to look at these non-domiciled CDLs as well. And so they are putting pressure, and I thought it was important to bring this up.
Extreme danger is posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted, as well as those who come here as temporary visitors and overstay their visas. We don't want them. Very simply, we cannot have open migration from any country where we cannot safely and reliably vet and screen those who seek to enter the United States. That is why today I am signing a new executive order placing travel restrictions on countries including Yemen, Somalia, Haiti, Libya, and numerous others.
What's going on, Mountain Truckers? Welcome to Mountain Trucker News. Emails at mountaintrucknews@gmail.com. Appreciate you guys for following the show on here. Basically, what we do is we just try to give you all the news information curated every day, just so that you know what's going on as it's happening. And so this one was a big one that President Trump released, and he released this about 20 hours ago, basically restricting the entry of foreign nationals to protect the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. So I'm just going to show you a list here, and this is all subject to change or be added for new countries as well. So the reason why all of this is a pretty big stuff is because, you know, when it directly affects truck drivers, we're talking about June 25th. We talked about the English proficiency and what that would do. And then they were going to look hard into non-domicile CDLs as well. So now they are making a statement with this truck driver here. And so you hear from the past where truck drivers, they come here illegally and they might not have a CDL and they get deported back 10, 15 times and then they cause an accident. Here's the thing about this right here is we got a question of the day from a truck driver that says, "Brother, I've been trying to find data on how many of these non-English speaking reading non-domicile CDL and HB1 and HB2 visa people have been placed out of service. All these laws mean nothing without accountability." So this is the first accountability that they are making here. It says here, which was released Wednesday, June 4th of 2025, man from El Salvador charged with making false statement. For immediate release, U.S. Attorney Office, Western District of New York. U.S. Attorney Michael announced today that Oscar David Contreras Guzman, 49, a citizen of El Salvador, was arrested and charged by criminal complaint with making a false statement, which carries a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. The Assistant U.S. Attorney Sasha, who is handling the case, stated that according to the complaint, in the early morning hours of May 17th, 2025, Guzman was driving a commercial truck bearing Maryland license plate at the Lewiston Bridge port of entry. When asked for identification during primary inspection, Guzman presented a Maryland state driver's license. He also claimed to be a citizen of Mexico, indicated that he had been refused entry into Canada after making a wrong turn onto the Lewiston Bridge. On his way to Michigan, Guzman was referred to a secondary to determine his immigration status in the United States. During secondary inspection, Guzman again stated that he was a citizen of Mexico and had in his possession a Mexican ID card. A fingerprint check determined that he was in fact Oscar David Contreras Guzman, a citizen of El Salvador, and was previously removed from the United States in April of 2007. So now this investigation is part of the Operation Take Back America, a nationwide initiative that marshals the full resources of the Department of Justice to repeal the invasion of illegal immigration. So achieve the total elimination of cartels and criminal organizations and to protect our communities from violent crimes. The complaint is the result of an investigation by Customs and Border Protection under the direction of Director of Field Operation Rose Brophy. The fact that a defendant has been charged with a crime is merely an accusation, and the defendant is presumed innocent unless proven guilty. He had ID from Mexico, and then he gave the officials a Maryland state driver's license. Okay, so from that, they checked it, and it said that he was removed from the United States in 2007. So, he's not guilty here, but there's definitely something going on. And so the reason why this is important is because this is the first case that they're making a really big deal out of somebody potentially not having the right identification to drive a semi-truck. So, my truckers, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts about this. But I thought this was really big because this is the start of putting pressure on making sure that everybody that's driving in America should be driving in America. If you look back at the CVSA, and these are the people, third party that is, that put truck drivers out of service. They did an international road check, and the result from it, I want to give you these numbers right here that are important. Number one was hours of service. They put out of service 870 drivers, but the second biggest offense was no commercial driver's license. So 688 drivers were put out of service. What is our government really doing besides a slap in the hand for these drivers? And I thought this was very important because they are pressing this pretty hard. And this is the most recent one that has involved a truck driver. So my truckers, comment down below. Let me know your guys' thoughts about this. But I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I'll talk to you guys soon.